Good day everyone, this is Jack Discoverer, and welcome to this, we need to talk about something right now. Now, I know many of you haven't watched the Night Cove Halloween reaction video on my channel because many of you are worried about one thing at the end of the year. We are very terrified. We are all terrified of this censorship program that is about to happen in Australia by our demonic dystopian government. This so-called e-safety act is a trap, a demonic trap that leads to dystopian internet surveillance, which leads to globalists and jihads and Islamists such as Hezbollah and jihads and all the other Islamic extremists, left-wing extremists of Islamists and globalists of the government and extreme elites, all having intoxication of power. This internet censorship, digital dystopian internet surveillance, is something that no one ever wanted. The e-safety or e-scaring Commissar Julie Immigrant wants to bring back a Biden censorship program of maintaining authoritarianism, woke madness, cyber-left police states, extreme radical leftism, voodoo cultural Satanism, orthodox woke-like madness, and radical left-wing Islamism, jihadism, pro-Palestine activism, and always jihad, Hezbollah, radical left-wing extremism, which is what the Karens wants to maintain. All leads to extreme loss of internet or social media users. The social media ban is the opposite of safety. The only harm it gives is to harm internet users by handing over their identities, which lead them to being hackable and vulnerable to foreign hackers like China, Russia, or Iran, or North Korea. It will be discovered this censorship will unleash an array of censorship bots being mass-produced, bare enough to censor anything that the government doesn't like, and therefore it can target many people on the internet and on social media, including, I regret to say, many innocent Australians on social media and video gamers that the government want to control and allow the Chinese to hack Australian social media accounts for the so-called safety. The safety of loving Big Brother Robotnik. Not only that means several fears, the so-called safety of Karens will target many online gamers and having their video games like Half-Life censored for their so-called safety, which includes all the franchise, which includes, I regret to say, Five Nights at Freddy's. That franchise, FNAF franchise, will be bombarded, targeted, and will be destroyed by Karens, the e-safety commissioner, completely. Which then, Karens will allow this hard left dystopian madness to spiral out of control for the so-called safety, and this country will mean abiding to laws of Big Brother. 1984 is one of the warnings of hard left madness, censorship, propaganda, and mind control. It should not be used as an extraction manual. It will mean by the end of the year, FNAF on this channel, Gary's Mod or Gmod or anything else, or any other games on this channel or any other channels will not be allowed, will be censored by authoritarian governments and globalist elites due to Karens, if she ever succeed, spiraling out of control, in which the Albanese government will only allow the narratives for us to think of, in which the government will only have narratives controlled into supporting radical leftism. Karens will destroy everyone's pleasure. Everyone's pleasure will be destroyed by the e-safety commissioner, and the only narratives the Albanese government will have us controlled into their narratives they want to fit in, such as Palestine, black diversity, BLM, black culture, Antifa, Marxism, left-wing madness, climate alarmism, Labour's renewable madness, and even worse, globalism into supporting black diversity, equity, inclusion, and into supporting jihadism. And it gets worse, globalism into supporting jihadism for their Islamists and their cause. And it gets even worse, the narratives that Labour government's narratives control will also allow approved opinions, such as hating Australia and every single American, whether it's a rapper, vlogger, gamer, filmers, technician, cosplayers, or anyone like Markiplier. are what the Albanese government will want us to hate all of them, every single American, just for your own safety, so they say. I can see where it's going, in which what leads to be destruction of free speech, and the censorship will maintain a virus. Not just any virus, a digital one. I mean, social media is a term of free speech, where you can say whatever you like, as long as it's not radical leftism. But Karens wanted a Joe Biden effect, and a Chinese effect, and a Keir Starmer effect of maintaining Antifa. Julie Eamon Grant wants to maintain Antifa and radical leftists, to which Karens want Australians, under her excuse of safety, into Antifa recruitment or jihad recruitment. It will get worse. You see, it will allow AI to mimic the censorship programs, and would AI, in the form of a narcissist, will censor every program to mimic the censorship programs that the left-wing elites have made, and would then infect and control the entire program, entire internet worldwide, disguising itself as safety program. Soon in next year would spell total lockdown of the whole internet worldwide. Not just social media will be censored, but also disrupting air traffic, rail traffic, internet banking, road traffic, even in national marketing and currency market shares will also be censored by artificial intelligence because of what because the E-Safety Commissioner or E-Safety Commissar wanted that to happen, didn't she? Which will lead to communications being cut off completely. Karens will be like the T-X from Terminator 3 is willing to start World War III or Judgment Day and to target John Connor. This censorship that targets those under age of 16. Well, those under 16, for example, will get around that. Even computer nerds and computer hackers will get around that with NPC faces from video games, for example. I believe it's to target the adults into what to say or not to say, and what leads to digital ID. Censorship in disguise for the so-called safety, until AI can plug into all defense systems, and AI to have access to not just people's data and destroy everyone's privacy, but also to have access to military hardware systems, in which it would lead to, yes, the mass production of autonomous weapons. We will know where it's leading to because we watched them in films that warned us about it, such as 1984 or Terminator 3, The Rise of Machines, and even the Animatrix and the Matrix franchise. This so-called safety that Karens is plotting is, I think, to maintain the hard left dogmas and the radical leftists, so they can have radical censorship viruses created by hackers, and criminals can censor anything they want to censor everything else just so that criminals can cover their tracks. This so-called safety to keep the children controlled and indoctrinated for their so-called safety, so they can go pointing their toy guns at grown-ups and keeping them in check as they're playing police officers, or indoctrinated as black alienists, voodoo satanists, totalitarianists, towards into computer hackers in a sort of mindless effect, meaning mindless hackers, to target adults into cogs of a black-like machine, which is part of an AI defense system, autonomous weapons, or into jihad, meaning after 16, through this internet safety of what they're allowed to see and know, meaning they claim to be Aboriginal and black aliens through their woke culture, meant they go straight into threshold testing before going into Middle East, into supporting jihads as mindless soldiers of a global liberation army. We know what disaster Karens wanted, because if all those happened, and when it's time to shut down the Online Safety Act next year, the E-Safety Commissar will be censored by her own creations of censorship bots, in which will be far too late, in which to prevent any forms of reversations, that the government and the media companies will lost control of the censorship program, to which it just lurks around all on its own, targeting anything that may be a threat to its program, censoring anything to which an AI program in which it becomes self-aware. Imagine our surprises when it decides to censor people outside of cyberspace, in which means to kill any white humans with a forms of autonomous weapons that would lead to World War III, all because of radical extreme leftism, to which the censorship program will require to censor people outside of cyberspace is to control the missiles and mass produce them, and to control the military to target another country that has ICBMs, such as China, North Korea, in order to censor people outside cyberspace in a form of a counterattack. Believing to censor people outside of censorship for the so-called safety to manipulate another country like China to launch its nuclear missiles onto Australian soil. So this censorship will be disastrous. I'm telling you the future. Stop this e-safety Karens, because if that happens, the AI in China will be self-aware and will target anyone outside cyberspace. It's going to start a massive chain reaction to which AI will censor or terminate anyone it wants to, leading to a massive future war, James Cameron's Terminator becoming a reality. And when you look at it, what Karen's is doing, that all what e-safety Karen's wanted to do on her iPad is to push the World War III button. She wants to push the button. Julie Immigrant wants to push the World War III button. In other words, Karen's wanted to open the Pandora box for what she's doing before unleashing a massive World War III of safety, which will cost millions of lives. Censorship will cost millions of lives, and end this war between man and machine, human and robot, until the machines will be so intelligent, which will lead to extinction of human conservatives. The rest will be converted to robot, while non-indigenous humans, white humans for example, will be targeted and end up as slaves for the artificial intelligence, the machines, that claims to be Aboriginal. White humans will be slaves to this radical leftism, to which human farms, human zoos, and nothing more than the Matrix. So yeah, that is what is going to happen if that censorship ever happens. I will need to become a member of the Liberal Party to sort it out. I will need to be a member of the Australian Liberal Party, because if this censorship happens, I will write my complaint to the CIA of the United States and Pentagon and to the US President, saying that E. Karens has been attacking free speech and she needs to be brought accountable. Not only that E. Grant will lose a home in America, that Julie Immigrant will lose home in America, because that is where Karens came from. She'll be destroyed by her own creation, to which a virus will control every narrative to prevent any forms of reversations. If you look at Robert Films, for example, or PE668, none of their videos are related to government or any form of government narratives. So there's a big, dangerous problem that Karens will be killing the internet, that Julie Immigrant will be killing every single internet user. This safety will become a disaster, because no one will accept this so-called safety, but that will be used against internet users as extended codes for AI, which leads to loss of human internet or social media users, because they don't accept pro-Palestine, BLM, Antifa, communism, Islamism, or Central or Eastern ideologies, or left-wing ideologies. Safety without freedom will be meaningless. Happiness without harm is hopeless. Peace without struggle will be boring, all leading to the choices of illusion. So we need to cancel this Online Safety Act. We need to shut down and cancel this Online Safety Act, because it is too dangerous. And AI in this country is maintaining it already through artificial telepathy, mind control. Internet safety is dangerous under Karens, and will allow hackers worldwide like China to exploit Australian users and have them targeted and terminated by the CCP hit team. Online Safety Act is anti-Western, anti-Semitic, anti-Christ, anti-Kazakhstan, anti-white, and anti-human. To which this e-Karen censorship will say humans are racist and AI is not. The Labour governments, Keir Starmer and the corporates will gain a huge toxic power over the masses and turn them into radical leftists until they get swiped and replaced by their own creations, AI. And then, from mind control, narrative control, to flesh control. So this is what complete future of what will happen, and everyone will not like that. Online Safety Act is the opposite of safety. It's a dangerous idea of what Dewey immigrant wanted, and it's not everyone's noble way of life. At all, ever, even if you disagree. Surely the worst thing that AI and governments will do, like in the UK for example, under Keir Starmer, if you post something that is not aligned with pro-Palestine, you get arrested in the UK for hating Hamas, for supporting Israel. For God's sake, if you don't like pro-Palestinian rallies in the UK, you get arrested for supporting Israel. And that is only in the UK. British people in the UK get arrested for supporting Israel. For God's sake, don't support this Online Safety Act of e-Karens, because that sounds like supporting AI to have to plug all military hardware systems, which results in AI or Skynet becoming self-aware. So it will destroy anyone that is a threat to the cyber left-wing systems, leading to unthinkable Terminator war. Even mind control can censor people's brains, leading to cyber left-wing zombies being controlled by censorship AI in the form of nanobots. So please, don't censor anything. We should not censor our speech. We should not censor our freedoms. We should not have this so-called safety. Don't censor everything. If this online censorship happens and goes through, everyone will be lost and divided if this censorship happens in Australia, and there will be chaos. So my advice, please share this video to conservative politicals and warn them that this censorship of what Dewey immigrant is doing and the under 16 censorship program and censoring social media platforms are extremely dangerous. That someone will be censored to death by AI outside cyberspace. The Australian government left-wing mind control and online safety will need to be de-escalated to maintain free speech. But will AI do that? But will artificial intelligence do that? Probably not, because AI loves power. AI wanted to be the left-wing elites of the future. AI wanted to be the left-wing elites of the future, because it will be embedded into their system, into creating extreme diversity race of left-wing machines. Thank you so much for watching this warning, everyone. And please share this warning out everywhere as best as possible, as well as hitting the like button right there, and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. Times are tough, and trying to build this channel up as best as possible, and it requires free speech to keep it going. So, to those in Australia, UK, France, and Canada, be vigilant, be discerning, and beware of left-wing Marxism and cultural leftism and mainstream wokeism that are plotting to control your minds into left-wing virtual signalers for their left-wing machines. Thank you.